to be an effective soul winner. And there are a few of those contexts. I just want to list few of them now and show you certain peculiarities and things you should take note of as you go about soul winning. Number one, highly secular societies. When you go to preach in a secular society, the way you will preach will be different from when you go to preach in a war-torn zone. And it will be different from the way you will preach in a remote village. The message is the same, but there are certain strategies, consciousness required to make you effective. Hope you know, if you go to preach in Ukraine now, it will be different from the way you will preach if you are in America. And it will be different from the way you will preach if you are in Burkina Faso. You must be sensitive about peculiarities in territories. And the first peculiarity as territories that are highly secular. What's their problem? Number one, they have apathy towards religion. They hate anything that is religious. Number two, they are people who are relative in their thinking. So you find relativism. They don't believe in absolute truth or absolute error. So you can't just say Jesus is the way. They'll say, come on, brother. How can God create the whole world and make only one way? They want you to give relative context. Number three, they are given to intellectual skepticism. They are intellectual skeptics. Anything you say, I heard one talking the other day. He said, whatever you believe, you don't know. Because you can't know something and believe at the same time. If you know something, you don't need to believe it. And if you believe in something, it means you don't know it. So how can you say you know Jesus, yet you believe in him? He said, do you believe in your father? He said, no, I know my father. Of course. If you know something, you don't need to believe in. I looked, I shook my head. They are intellectuals. So they come with debates. You know, the knowledge of God is not cognitive knowledge, it's experiential knowledge. So when we say know Jesus, we are saying experience Jesus. But this is to show you that you will find yourself in such a context, highly secular context. They love pleasure. So they are looking for reasons why they won't be taken away from it. So if you come to this kind of context, there are a few things that you must add to your enterprise of soul winning. Number one, you must use apologetics and reasonable dialogue. So when you are preaching, your message should be filled with rhetorical questions and answers. Ask questions that you don't need them to answer. You answer it yourself. So you are going to help open their minds when you become apologetic. That's what you do in a secular society. Number two, when you are in a secular society, you need to engage acts of service. Show them the relevance of your gospel. In a secular society, you don't just go preach and walk away. You have to show them that this gospel is relevant. You meet somebody in America and start telling him about Jesus. What do I need him for? So you can't go there just with breakthrough. No, you need to teach him. You need to find out the challenge of his context and show him the relevance of the gospel. These are societies where they don't have true relationships. These are societies where their problem is loneliness, vulnerability around the area of emotions. These are societies where there's a vacuum in their soul. They are looking for, you need to find how to enter into those loopholes and show them the relevance of the gospel. So it's a gospel that comes with application and, if necessary, service. You render service, services of kindness, services of love, services of patience. Some of them will hear you more when you show them kindness or love or trustworthiness than 5 years of messages. That's why you see our brethren who are, here you can just stand on the street. If you don't repent, you go to hell. That one won't work in the United Kingdom. It won't work in America. Are you following? So you have to show applicability, relevance. Number three, you have to also show them about the blessedness of community, that God can give you true, genuine community or family. That in the kingdom, there is also a family context. Because these are lonely people. Believe me, they are very vulnerable. That's why most of them are either robotic or connected to the virtual space more than the natural. Very robotic society. You can live in this house and you don't know your next door neighbor, but you are neighbors for 10 years. Everybody is just minding his business. Meanwhile, within, there is loneliness. There's vulnerability. When you begin to open them up to the family aspect of the gospel, it makes them. That's why in such context, evangelism is effective when you go in groups. They want to see community life where they can find solace, find true relationship. These are some of the problems of secular societies. And then number 4, avoid religious jargons. That's not a place to go and start talking about potters, about ranking angels. They will look at you and say, get out of here. Somebody is enjoying, is preparing for a nightclub to go and have his fun. Hey, you are talking, hey, in the days of Noah, a fire, rain came from heaven. A fire came in the days of Elijah. What is Elijah? Who is Noah? Oh God, I don't have time. What are you talking about? Avoid religious jargon. Don't come to the person and start talking about the theology and the epistemology of the deity of Christ. They don't have time. Oh. That's why I give them. It's not enough to have fire. Understand your context. If you start religiosity, they'll just say, nah, them. They will leave you. So while you have the generic requirement, understand peculiarities. Number 2, elitist society. Society of the wealthy. Those who feel, I was studying John Maslow's pyramid of needs. And at the top, you have the biggest need of man is self-actualization. At the lowest rung, you have things like food, security. That's why a beggar can sleep under the bridge. A beggar is not troubled whether you don't break the heart of a beggar. It's when you have enough food and security. In fact, no, food first, clothing and shelter. That's the lowest. When you have food and clothes, that's when you can think of security. Then when you have security, that's when you talk about feelings. So the guy who is hungry, who doesn't have what to wear, is not bothered whether they are armed robbers. All of them will sleep under the bridge and go. Even the armed robber doesn't care about him. But the moment you have food and clothes, you become careful where to hide your head. So security comes in. When you now have security, you start wondering, am I not handsome? Now feelings comes in. When you now have feelings, emotions is dealt with, then you start talking about honor and dignity. Why did they not greet me when I came here? Why you can't underrate me, sir? You can't intimidate me. Who told you can intimidate me? Now it's because you have food, you have security, emotion is dealt with. That's why you remember that there's such a thing called honor. Then when you reach that level, you start talking achievements, self-actualization. I've built a company that is working. I have a name in this society. So when you are dealing with the elites, they have moved from food and clothes. They have moved from security. They have moved from emotional issues. They have moved from matter of honor. They buy honor with their money. What they are concerned is self-actualization. So your gospel must deal with something that they can't buy or build. So when you are dealing with such people, you deal with matters of eternity, the end of the soul. There is such a place. When the rich man came to Jesus, and Jesus told him, go sell all you have, come. We are talking something that is more than money. You need to show them the things that money cannot buy. So you start talking to them about matters of eternity. Where will your soul go to at the end of time? Have you contemplated it? Because there's no scholar that has studied the world to come. Only the one who came back from there told us about it. Have you contemplated such possibilities? So when you are dealing with the elites, the bourgeois of society, the approach is different. I'll show you what to do. Number 1, show intellectual coherence. Don't talk to them like a novice. Talk to them like somebody who is well informed. Because when you start talking, they want to find out, who are you? What have you achieved? You can't advise me, sir. So they weigh you from your appearance and from your communication. So you need to talk like somebody who knows what he's saying. So there must be coherence in communicating your conviction. I'm not saying be all sophisticated, but be coherent. They need to know you know what you are doing, because these are people who have proven knowledge. They have built systems from what they know. So you can't talk to them without conviction and coherence. Number 2, when you are dealing with these people, you have to leverage on historical facts and philosophical foundations. You need to show them that Jesus has a pedigree that history has verified, so his words can be trusted. And you need to let them know that Jesus is wiser than whichever wisdom that they have subscribed to. This is why you get the attention. This is why wealthy people only come to wise people. If you are passionate, they may just assume that maybe you don't have a work. When you are burning, what you call fire, they may say, he's not busy, he has time, it's energetic. Or they may say he's hungry, he's trying to make impression. They will just ignore you. But when you talk, go and check Solomon's life now. Kings of nations came to him. They want to sit down to hear his wisdom. So when you are talking to such people, it's not just about shout. You have to show them wisdom. You have to show conviction and coherence in communication. And then when you communicate to these people, you must be respectful. Your communication should not suggest arrogance, and it should not be too dramatic. It will look as if there's no substance in what you are saying. So you are trying to hide it, either in your arrogance or your dramatization. That's why these guys sometimes they want to listen to dialogue.